Good evening, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in with us today. We have something very special for you guys today. I hope that this is a blessing for everyone who listens to it, whether it's live or on the replay. Um, Before we even get started, start to share, hit that share button, share. Let your friends know, your family know what's going on, that the Gate Restoration Center is now live and we're about to get started. Family know what's oh, Lord. On, that the Gate Restoration Center is now that we are live and about to get started. Let your people know that they are about to be blessed. Amen. Before I get started, someone got knocked off. But before I get started, I want to introduce the people that's going to be on here with me on today. The first person that's going to be on is someone who's very near and dear to my heart, the love of my life. She is my boo thing, my everything, and I'm so happy that she's going to be on here with us today. It's my beautiful wife, Christine Robinson McDowell. Amen. If I had the applause thing, I would do the applause thing right now. Amen. Hey, how are you? Yeah, we can hear you. We hear you.
Again, there's a delay,
The
but
second
hi.
person that we're gonna be. Oh, go ahead. Say hi. Say hi to the peoples.
No, I said there's a delay, but hi.
Oh yeah, there's a thing. I'm sorry, y'all. Second of all, we have your favorite life coach. Amen. She's my best friend. She's actually my best friend's life coach, and she has rave reviews about this young lady. Me and her have been working together for a long time as far as photography is concerned, and I've seen the great things that she's done in the lives of many women throughout South Florida and throughout the country. And she's gonna bless us with her presence. She actually has a conference coming up that I'm gonna let her tell you about in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, Delerice Tehrani. Amen. How
Hi,
are
hey
you?
everybody.
Yay.
So how are you all today, or tonight, I should say? How is everybody
I
doing?
am doing great. I'm excited to be here and share um, my wisdom as a life and relationship coach. I've been counseling and coaching for many years. I have the Proverbs 31 Wife Mentorship as well, where I help women um, navigate through life as mothers, as wives, as business owners. And I also help single women shift into the wifehood season. And that's, I think, what I'm most known for, the Proverbs 31 wife ministry. But I love everything to do with relationships and helping people obtain their life and relationship goals. And I'm just excited to be here tonight. And I'm so blessed to have known Leroy for so many years. As he said, we've worked together for a very long time. And his lovely wife, this is my first time partnering with her on an event. And I'm just excited for this partnership as well. It's been long overdue, I think, right?
I know, right?
Basically.
I know, right? We've been like circling each other for a long time. Eventually, we was gonna have to work with each other at some point. Amen.
Yes. This was supposed to happen for a while. So we're
Yeah,
finally getting it done.
exactly. You see Trinika on here. She done said hi, Coach D.
Hey, Tranika. I'm sorry, I have my camera set up a little bit further, so I may not see who's saying anything, but hi to whoever's saying hello.
Yeah.
Maybe I need
So
to
Yeah.
enlarge my camera or something like that. I see a little icon on the bottom telling me to widen the screen. Maybe I need to click that.
maybe I don't know. Someone said you look beautiful, Mama
Thank
Bear.
you. Oh, that's one of my spiritual daughters. If somebody's calling me Mama Bear, that must be one of my girls.
Yeah. So thank you
Love it.
guys so much for tuning in. We appreciate you guys so much. And thank you ladies so much for doing this with me. The reason why I chose you guys is because I respect your wisdom.
Mhm.
I respect your viewpoint. And I've heard you say very uh like gems, real gems that would help
Hmm.
people if they would just listen to that type of advice and that type of way of thinking.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to make sure that I invited you guys. I knew my wife would be kind of apprehensive because I know she likes to play. You know, she likes to, let other people, be in front of the camera and stuff like that. But my wife, she would probably never believe me when I say this, but she is amazing when it comes to relationships and how things work. You know what I'm saying? I've heard her say
Hmm.
things. I'm like, man, like I didn't even think about that. I need to get myself together. Type of
Oh, I
thing,
finally can see the comments, guys. I saw what I was doing wrong, so I can see the comments now. I'm on it.
Okay. But yeah, I've heard her say some amazing things. So I'm really, really looking forward to hearing what you guys have to say. And you guys who are watching, I want you to chime in. Like when I throw out a comment or we talk about certain things, I want you to chime in, ask questions. Whatever it is, chime in. We want to have interaction with you guys. 'Cause at the end of the day, this is to help people. You know what I'm saying? This is to
Hmm.
really help people and to really help people experience what God has for them. Because at the end of the day, God doesn't just have what we would consider church ministry. You see what I'm saying? Like
Right.
we don't just
Absolutely.
God doesn't just want you to be a prophet. He doesn't just want you to
No,
give
he
into the
doesn't.
offering basket.
He
He doesn't
definitely
just
doesn't.
want you to, you know what I'm saying? He wants you to have healthy relationships.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's where we kind of messed up as far as church, um, because we focus so much on the organization of church that we forget the family. And the reason why you're having issues in the church is because you're not taking care of the family.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Like you're not taking care of the relationships at home. You're not helping people to navigate those emotions and navigate those relationships. And so
Right.
they bring those issues into the church. And then you're wondering, why is this happening? Yeah, you got to minister to that.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You got to minister to that. So why this is for both of y'all. This is for both of y'all, right? And
Mhm.
I'm gonna let y'all figure out who's gonna go first on this one. Why
Okay.
do you think that the divorce rate is the way it is, and that the dating market is the way that it is?
That's a great
Either one of y'all
question.
can go.
I'll go. I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
We'll start with why the divorce rates are as high as they are now in this time that we're living in. I think that as someone who counsels married and engaged couples and singles on a daily basis, what I what I see a lot with couples is that lack of fight. I mean, that's the best way to put it. A lot of people aren't in a space mentally where they are able to fight for their relationships in a healthy manner because a lot of people haven't done the work regarding healing prior to getting into relationships. So people are not able to withstand any kind of test or trial, if you will.
Mm,
Um,
that's a heavy one.
I believe
That's a
that
heavy one.
every relationship, no matter how beautiful it is, goes through some time of testing. And because people are not in positions where they are whole, everything bothers them to the point of divorce. Whereas
Mm,
I think in the past, when we were watching our grandparents grow up, I mean, our grandparents' marriages and our aunts and uncles' marriages, and those who would have come before us, we were watching whole people get married. Um,
mm,
and we were watching people who were surrounded by a healthy group of women that fought for marriages. I think
mm,
now one of the biggest downfalls in society and in African American cultures, especially because we were big on marriage back in the days, and the reason why we're seeing so much divorce is because we don't have a lot of those mothers around us the way that we used to back in the days. Thankfully, I'm in a
That's
family
major.
where that is still very much the way that we do life in relationships. But I think a lot of people now are in positions where they're having children early. And I'm not knocking anyone that has a child, because I have very close friends that have had children early and didn't get married. However, because a lot of babies are having babies, by the time they come to that age where they are mature, they would have failed in several relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And I think back in the days, you were trained very early how to be a wife, how to
Mm.
keep a marriage, how to keep your husband happy, how to make your house a home. And that's something that we're not taught now often. What we're taught now is marry rich. And I'm not saying don't marry someone that's wealthy or someone that has their finances in order, but we're taught just go grab you a baller. We're not taught how to keep the baller.
Mm.
And that's where the breakdown is happening. Back in the days, women respected marriages, and so did men. They respected marriage. Marriage was something that people went into for life. They didn't go into it looking for expiration dates. But now, because we saw mom get a divorce, we saw our aunts get divorced, or maybe we never saw our father get married at all, we think that single life or divorce is where God is calling us. And I think one thing that bothers me the most is that I hear a lot of Christian people saying that, oh, I think I'm just supposed to be single. When the
Mm.
reality is, God saw that Adam was lonely, wives, women, come on. He saw that Adam was lonely and he
Amen.
created us to be wives.
Mm.
There's no way of dancing around the fact that we were created to be wives. But one of the biggest downfalls that we make now is that, oh, I'm more than a wife. Oh, I'm more than somebody's wife. Yeah, you are more than a wife, but we were created to be wives. So back in the days, women took being a wife very serious. Now we're taught that, oh, go chase this career. And I'm not saying not to chase a career, because I have a career. However, there's this thing now where we are so wrapped up in being successful in the regular world, in our career paths and on our career journeys, that being a wife, being a mom becomes the second, third, or fourth thing. When back in the days, being a wife was important, having a family was important, and having a job was important as well, but they were equally important. It was an honor to be a wife back in the days. Now people shame you for desiring to be a wife. And I know this why, because I hear all the time, oh, it's more to life than being married, or people shaming women that actually desire to be married. There is nothing wrong with desiring to be a wife. Why? Because we were created to be wives. It's scriptural. But we dance around the fact that God put Adam to sleep, took his bone, took his rib, and created us. We were created to be wives. And people don't like when I say that. It rattles feathers. But my track record, my fruits speak for me. I don't just help people birth raggedy marriages. And I'm saying that with the confidence that God created me, anointed me to do what I'm doing. And so I'm passionate about helping people obtain healthy marriages, but sustain them, keep marriage, keep that marriage. People back in the day stayed married long because their first mindset wasn't get a divorce. They understood the importance of getting in their prayer closet and praying until God shifted that relationship. They understood the importance of not letting the enemy wrestle their marriages out of their hands. They understood the importance of keeping that family together, especially if it wasn't something that really should result in divorce. I don't think people understand that every relationship that is failing doesn't have to end in divorce. A lot of people just think that, and we're not getting along in this season, we're never going to get along. And sometimes it's God giving you a testimony together as a couple. Sometimes it's God teaching you what you need to know in order to counsel couples that he will send you. Sometimes it's God giving you ministry purpose, but oftentimes the presence of trouble makes us think it's the end of relationships. And I always tell people the presence of trouble doesn't always mean the end of a relationship. It doesn't always mean divorce. I'm not telling you to stay in an abusive relationship. I'm certainly not telling you to be in something where you know someone does not desire you. They left, they walked out, decided to go get a boyfriend or girlfriend on the side. I'm definitely not telling you to stay in those kinds of relationships, but I'm saying marriages lasted longer when we were younger because people understood how to fight for their marriages, not against their marriages. Now we fight verbally instead of fighting in the prayer closet. Back in the days, we fought in the prayer closet. We told God the issue. Now we're in this Facebook, social media world where everything that happens in our home needs to be posted on social media. I once saw a person post themselves getting kicked out of their house. Can y'all
Mm-mm.
believe
That's
that? A
crazy.
woman videotaped herself getting put out of her house.
Wow.
Like, what are you doing? You're videotaping yourself getting kicked out of your house, and you were wrong. You were wrong, and you're videotaping this man being completely frustrated with you because you can't control your spending, and you think that this is a Facebook moment. We don't take things serious now, and I think that's one of the biggest downfalls in relationship. And also, there's so much to compare. There's a lot of comparing going on where people are looking on social media and they're seeing these lives that aren't real. All they're seeing is what you decide you want to share,
Mm-hmm.
and that could be something that is totally false. But then, oh, my man isn't doing this or he isn't doing that. I tell people all the time that you have to make your relationship goals. And how you do that is making sure that your relationship is filled with happiness, it's filled with trust, and you are committed to making it last. That's relationship goals.
Yes.
Relationships goals is not posting pretty pictures. It's not who can buy me the most expensive, lavish gift. It's about
Facts.
lasting and remaining happy and healthy.
Very true.
Facts.
Very true. Babe, you have anything to add?
I mean, I just piggyback off of what she said, honestly. I guess to answer your question, I think divorce happens the most just because people get bored, and particularly women, because that's why the rate is so high. Excuse me. I think I'm catching a cold. Um, but in particularly women, you just get bored and the whole grass is greener on the other side type of a situation. You
Mm-hmm.
have social media. That's just a killer to relationships. Personally, that's why I'm on it, but not on it as heavy as most. I don't even have Facebook, and I hardly get on Instagram
We
because
noticed that.
I don't want to be influenced.
Right.
If I could be totally honest, I'm happy in my own world. I'm more concerned with my real life connections than the
Right.
attention of others, if that makes sense.
It
Um,
does.
so yeah, I think the number one killer in divorce in particular is just boredom. It's exactly what she said. Nobody cares to really fight anymore. They see, oh, this person's not doing this for me. This person's not doing that. I'm out.
Mm-hmm.
That's ridiculous. And just to piggyback off what she said when it comes to wealth shouldn't be the number one thing you think of even going in a relationship. Like it should
Mm-hmm.
be, you should be looking for a God fearing person. If God is at the top of your relationship, then everything else is just beautiful. I don't
I
really have too
agree.
much to say. It's
I
simple,
agree.
real
I
simple.
to piggyback on what both of you guys have said, I think where the enemy has deceived us is that he sold society a bill of goods. Like he basically made it seem like, oh, this is what marriage is supposed to be. It's supposed to be this, it's supposed to be that. Like, prophetess said, and my wife said, you have this highlight reel
Oh
on
yeah.
your social media. You have this highlight reel, and highlight reels are made to make you look good. That's the whole point. The whole point of a highlight reel is to make you look good. It's your best moments, and that's it. It's not when you messed up. It's not when you made the mistake. It's not when you know what I'm saying, overstepped. It's not when you were disrespectful. It's not any of that. And I think that's where we kind of messed up, because now we think that relationships are supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, this this fairy tale all the time.
Mhm.
Where, yeah, you know what I'm saying, a healthy relationship most of the time is going to look like that. But you're going to have your hard times. It's normal to have
Mhm.
hard times.
Oh yeah.
It's normal for you to not see eye to eye. You are two separate people who have come together to make one organism now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have two very separate upbringings, two separate mindsets, and all that. And if you come into the relationship understanding that I'm not going to agree with everything this person says, I'm not going to agree with everything that they say,
Mhm.
but I respect their viewpoint and I'm going to hear out what they have to say,
Mm-hmm.
then I can guarantee you, you will alleviate 80% of the arguments, 80% of the hard times, all that, just because you're giving that person the respect of you have the right to feel the way that you feel. You have the
Mhm.
right to have the viewpoint that you have, and I'm going to listen to you, but that doesn't mean we're going to necessarily see eye to eye, and that's okay. We're going to learn, we're going to build a bridge between how I feel and how you feel. You
Facts.
see what I'm
That's
saying? We're going to
basic
build that
Mhm.
communication.
bridge. I'm sorry?
I was just saying that's basic communication, and a lot of people don't know how to have
Mhm.
that nowadays, which is why
Exactly.
a lot of relationships falter. If you have no communication, you have nothing.
That's so true. That's so true. You know, I put on Facebook the other day, people need to have a conversational etiquette class
Facts.
because people don't even let people finish talking before they start talking anymore.
Also facts.
It's like you'll be saying something like, yeah, you know, and this and the other, and yeah, it's like, whoa, I didn't even finish what I said. I didn't even finish getting out my entire thought yet, and you're
Mhm.
already responding, right? And the messed up part is 9 times out of 10, you're not responding to what I'm actually saying. You're responding
Right.
to what you perceived that I was going to say.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And it's like, when you do that, it causes a whole lot of confusion because now I'm so busy trying to get you to hold up, let me finish. And then you're over here, but you said that. It's like, well, hold on, you didn't let me finish
Right.
Right.
so that you can get the whole entire point. Let me finish,
Mm-hmm.
and
Facts.
then you'll know what I'm actually saying. You're already mad and you don't even know what I said. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? It's so weird. It's like there's this book called the Art of Listening. I think we all need to read that book. The
Mhm.
Art of Listening. Just sit there and let the person finish talking. Because 9 times out of 10, if you let them finish talking, you'll get their. You may not agree with them, but you'll understand their view, and that will produce empathy, and that empathy will allow you to be able to deal with them in love rather than attack them for how they feel. That
Mhm.
does that make sense?
Mhm.
Yes.
So yeah, it's sad. It's really sad when my wife says it all the time. Like we'll see certain people fall apart. What she says, some people don't use their ears. Yeah, you're right. They, I don't know if you saw that on the side.
I
Some
saw
I
people
that
don't
see
one.
use
it.
their ears. It's
It's
crazy. It's
true.
so true. They do not use their ears. They
How
do not
often do
use their
people
ears. It's
ask
crazy.
people, just think of the phrase of how are you? Like, how often does somebody just say, hi, how are you? And then just reel into whatever problems they have going on. They don't even wait for you to
Mhm.
answer. Like, that's just how selfish of a world we live in. It's sad.
Yeah. It's true. So, okay, we've gotten to the place where we're talking about communication. What are some things that you've seen uh some common pitfalls in communication that causes a lot of strife within relationships?
Just assuming that the person is supposed to read your mind. Women, cough, cough.
Wow.
We do that. I'm guilty of that. I thought that this man could read my mind for certain things. I
Mhm.
would just be mad and I would just shut up. And I'm like, he'll figure it out. And he'll be like, babe, I can't read your mind. Just tell me what the issue
Right.
is. And it took for me, to do some reading and some just just really reflecting on it, like, come on, like, be for real. He can't read your mind. So just communicate how you feel. And even if you're upset, it's exactly what you were just explaining. It's one thing to be upset, but it's more about how you're expressing it. Are you screaming? Are you yelling? Are you throwing things? Or are you having a conversation about why you're upset and explaining yourself? And you know what I mean? Like just having a dialect about
Hmm.
it. So I don't know.
I agree.
That's my take.
Mhm.
I think for me, one of the things that I notice is that people listen to respond instead of resolve.
Facts.
So instead of them listening to really process what you're saying to respond with a solution, they're listening quick because in their mind, they're just ready to respond with their opinion instead
Mhm.
of a solution to fix whatever the issue is. And I always tell couples in sessions, listen to resolve, not to respond. Because when you listen to resolve, the argument isn't going to last 3, 4 hours, 3, 4 days, and
Right.
then turn into something that sits in your spirit and becomes a seed of anger or disappointment that grows into something bigger. I think a lot of times when you listen just to respond, you're
Hmm.
just responding and hurting each other's feelings back.
Facts. Very
That's
So
true.
true.
that's one of my, I think what I feel is one of the biggest mistakes in communicating that couples make. Listening to respond.
Hmm.
Don't listen to respond. I know it sounds weird, but listen to resolve.
Very true.
Right.
Take time, process what they're saying, because if you love them, you should want to resolve the issue, not just respond with your tick for tat answer that we love to give, or
I
your
agree.
I'm a proof of point answer
Right.
that we love to respond with. Listen, take time, process it, and resolve.
Very
Facts.
true.
Beautiful.
One of
True.
I'm sorry, love. What did you say?
I said true. Very true.
Mhm. One thing that I remember one time I was counseling a couple is when I first started the ministry, and I remember they was talking and it was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. This is just to prove both of your point. They were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, and I told them stop. I said, so and so is this is what you're saying. Thus and so. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right? So and so, this is what you're saying. Thus and so. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I said, do you realize that both of y'all were saying the same exact thing? But because you were talking over each other, you didn't even realize that you have the same complaint about each other.
Well.
You didn't even realize that both of your complaints were you don't listen to me. And I was like, I said, you need to slow down, listen to what the person is actually saying. It's something that I saw online, and I it's the truth. It's the truth. Stop treating your significant other like they're the problem. The problem is the problem. Your
Hmm.
partner, your spouse, or your significant other is your partner, not the problem. When you treat your partner like the problem, you begin to attack your partner. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You start to attack the person that you love.
Mm-hmm.
When in all actuality, they're not the problem. The problem is the problem. Even if it may be an issue that the person has or they need to resolve, that's the issue, not them.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Treat the issue like the issue, not the person like the issue. And if we do that, we will learn how to communicate with our partners with a lot more respect, with a lot more care, with a lot more love. Let me tell you something.
Hmm.
Whether you're a man or a woman, whether you're a man or a woman, if you wouldn't talk to God in the way you're talking to your significant other, stop talking.
Facts.
If you would not talk to, because I know a lot of people will say, well, yeah, you can't talk to the man because if you weren't talking, no, it goes both ways. Because trust me, God literally spoke to me about my wife before we got married, and he talked to me the way a dad talks to the guy that his daughter's dating. And it was like, you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't talk to her like this, you can't act like this, you can't. He gave me a whole rundown. You see what I'm saying? So God
Mm-hmm.
cares about the woman's feelings too. So if you wouldn't speak to God that way, stop talking.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Just stop talking.
Absolutely.
Just stop talking.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? If I feel
Mm-hmm.
like I'm going to say something out the way to my wife, I stop talking. I get real quiet and I wait until I actually have something that's going to benefit the conversation. Because if I go off of how I feel, I'm going to say something that's damaging. And if you sow of the flesh, you will reap of the flesh corruption.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to
Right.
cause more damage than anything else. And you don't want to say something with your words in the heat of the moment that's going to cause damage that you're going to have to try to repair for months or years later. And you might not
Mm-hmm.
have even felt that way for real, for real. You were just mad. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And you
That's
ended up
true.
saying something you had no business saying.
I agree. I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, all right. So since both of y'all are mama bear types, what are some what are some and I'm going to speak for about the guys. What are some common pitfalls that you see women get into when it comes to their relationship with a guy? And I'm talking about when they're in a good relationship. I'm not talking about when they're already in a bad relationship, but for some reason they're holding on to it. I'm talking about when they're in a good relationship, but they're doing certain things that's sabotaging the relationship. What are some common pitfalls that you see women fall into?
I think a big one is comparing, honestly. Even when you're in a good relationship, a lot of women still outsource and see better. Like, oh, well, this guy buys flowers every week for his wife. You only do it once a year for me. It's the comparing yourself to others, I think can be a downfall, even when a relationship is going good. So, probably not to compare would be best. Um,
That's true.
and just focus on your relationship. I go back to what I said before, the grass is not greener on the other side. In most cases, it's usually artificial.
Amen to that. Prophetess?
I think that one of the biggest downfalls that I see in my counseling and coaching sessions with women is that a lot of women consult with people that don't love their relationship or their marriage. They love them.
Mm,
And
That's a
that
big one too.
this is imperative that women understand that your girlfriend can love you. Your mother
Mhm.
can love you. Your sister can love you and hate your relationship.
wow.
They can
I
hate your
agree.
marriage.
Wow.
And not that they don't want you to be happy, but when people can't handle hearing negative things about your spouse, those persons are going to always fight against your marriage or relationship. So I tell
Mm.
people all the time, I don't care how they love you. Tell me
Hmm.
if they love your marriage. If they don't love your marriage, they should be the last person you go to for relationship advice. They should be the last person you give your ear to in regards to your relationship because they will always teach you how to fail. They will always give you advice that will
Wow.
cause you to fail. People
Wow.
that you get relationship and marriage advice from need to love your marriage, not you. Because if they
Wow.
love your marriage, they're going to tell you when you're wrong.
Mm.
They're going to sit you down. My mentees and my spiritual daughters can tell you, I will sit them down quick. I will hang up and call their husband quick and ask, what did she do? Because
Hmm.
I want your relationship to last. I'm not trying to appease you. I'm not trying to be your friend. I want your relationship to last. So if my goal is to make sure your relationship lasts, that means you're going to hear that you're wrong from me sometimes. You're going
Mm.
to hear that you're out of order, that you talk to that man out of pocket, that you're treating him like he's your child and he's your husband, that you're acting like you want to be a wife, but you're not doing anything that's making me even think you want to be a wife. A lot of people don't want to hear that.
Wow.
But the reality is, a lot of women want the title wife, but they don't want the responsibility that comes with being a wife. As busy as I
Wow.
am, I always make time for wifehood. When my husband tells me no about something, I don't ask him another time. Why? Because I respect my husband enough and love him enough that I know this is the man that I chose. If I chose a good man, he's always going to take care of me, look out for me. And if he's telling me no about something, that means he has to see something that I don't see, because we are anointed to cover each other. So we're anointed to cover each other, to look out for each other. They may see something that we don't see. But then when we speak to Susie, best friend Betty, saying, "Oh girl, he controlling you." When God then gave your husband a vision or some kind of intuition regarding this connection being a negative connection and you needing to pull yourself back. You talking to Betty, and then Betty gonna get you set up. That's what
Mm.
happens when we decide to consult with people that love us, not our marriages. And I'm not saying to decide you're going to cut all your friends off, but I'm saying everybody does not deserve a voice in your marriage.
Very true.
I completely agree.
Very true. I one thing that I always tell my wife, when it comes to like my friends, what I would tell her, I said, I don't know why they came to me expecting me to take their side. I don't take people's side. I side
Mhm.
with the truth.
That's it.
Facts.
Regardless of who's on if you're on the side of truth, then I'm on your side. But I'm on the side of truth. And if you acting up, I'm gonna tell you. Point blank and period.
Facts.
I'm gonna tell you what's up. One thing that I've seen for on the guy side that I've seen is that men, when they're at odds with their significant other, they tend to hyper focus on what they don't like, and they don't take the time to be empathetic and see why their wife might be acting the way they're acting, if that makes sense.
It
So what
does.
they'll do is like, let's
Mm.
say we're talking about relationships. We're talking about married relationships, right? Let's say a person says, "Oh, my wife, me and my wife, we haven't been having sex. We haven't been doing this. We haven't been doing that." Da, 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 right? And I'm like, okay, so what's going on with her? Oh yeah, this, and that, and the other is happening. That's happening. This is happening. They're going through this. They're going through that. They're going through this. They're going through that. They're going through this. They're going through that. And I'm like, okay, let me repeat what you just said. You said that they're going through this. They're going through this. They're going through this. They're going through this, and they're going through this, right? Yeah. And you're asking them for sex. You get what I'm saying? It's like you literally bypassed all the things that they're going through
Yeah.
in the interest of what you wanted, but you didn't take the time to really look at what they're dealing with. How about you take the time to help her with what she's dealing with? Let her know that you're there. Let her know that she can count on you. Let her know that
Right.
she's safe with you.
Mm. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
Because
good. That's good.
here's the awful truth. Here's the awful truth. Women now, right? Because of what our forefathers have done, because a lot of us have now grown up with our fathers, right? They do not feel safe,
Mm-hmm.
right? You may be there, but they do not feel safe, right? Because they don't have a precedence of a male representing safety.
This is
They
facts.
don't have a precedence of that, right? So if you are there, right, you have to show her that because you're there, they are safe. You see what I'm saying? You have to show her that. Should it have to be that way? No, but let's deal. We have to understand that this is what we're dealing with, right? We're dealing with, especially in the African American community,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately,
Mm-hmm.
right? We are dealing with scores and scores and scores and scores of people, men and women, who
Mm-hmm.
have not grown up with their father in their life. Some people
Very true.
benefited with a father figure. They
Mm-hmm.
had a father figure in the home, but they didn't have their dad.
Mm-hmm. This is
Right.
fact.
And because of that, that's why a lot of women have a problem with submission, because they don't know what that looks like. They see submission as bondage.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Because that's what social media is telling them. That's what the news is telling them. That's what, their favorite, whomever their favorite influencer is telling them. They don't know that when a good man comes around who truly loves you, like God, that like Jesus loved the church and gave himself for it, that he's not going to lord over you. They don't know that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So you as the man, you have to take the responsibility of saying, you know what? I'm gonna show. I could show you better than I could tell you. I could
Mm-hmm.
show you better than I could tell you. I'm gonna show you that you're safe with me. I'm gonna show you that you're not alone anymore. Because a lot of women, even in relationships, feel like when problems rise up, they are by themselves.
Right.
They're used to
Mm-hmm.
doing things all by themselves. So it's hard to get a person, any person, to stop doing something they've been doing all their lives.
Mm-hmm.
True.
You see what I'm saying? You may say, "Oh, well, that's not right. You shouldn't do that." Yeah, it's true. You shouldn't do that. That's very true.
Mm-hmm.
However, you have to give them the space to change.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Because if they have never had that type of support, they're not going to readily run to you. They're not going to readily depend on you. They're not going to readily feel safe with you. And if that's the case, then that means you're going to have to show them that you're someone that they can depend on. You're going to have to show them that with you, their heart is safe. You're going to have to show them that you're capable of doing what you say that you can do. You have to show them.
Mm-hmm.
Point blank and period. You have to show them. And if you're not willing to show them, then I doubt that you're ready to be in a relationship
Mm-hmm.
anyway. You see what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? I doubt that you're ready to be in a relationship, a long lasting relationship anyway. Because at the end of the day, you have to be the same person no matter what.
Right.
As a man, you have to be the same person no matter what.
Right. That's facts.
You can't because I feel sad today. I don't do my responsibility. No. If your emotions keep you from your responsibilities, you're not walking as a man.
That right there.
If your emotion stops you from doing what you're supposed to do,
Mm-hmm.
you're not. I'm not challenging your masculinity. I'm just saying you're not fulfilling your role as a man. You see what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying?
Amen.
So
Mm-hmm.
with that all being said, if that's the case, if we know these things, then we have to make sure that we're extremely empathetic, that we take the time to look at what they're going through, to watch
Mm-hmm.
that we are providing spiritual support through prayer, through fasting. Because I don't know why people want to get married. They want the title of being married, but they don't want the responsibilities of
Mm-hmm.
marriage. Marriage is a ministry, and you have
Oh
to pray
yeah.
for your spouse. I'll say
Facts.
it again. And prophetess is agreeing with me. I'm sure my wife is
Mm-hmm.
agreeing with me too.
I am.
Marriage is a ministry, and
It
you have
is.
to pray for your spouse.
Mm-hmm.
You have to be your spouse's number one intercessor. And if you're not
Mm-hmm.
doing that, something's out of place. And when you're not doing that,
Completely out
then
of place.
completely out of place, right? And if you're not
Mm-hmm.
doing that, then you're not going to be sensitive to what that person is going through. And that's when you become extremely selfish. You start demanding your way. And when you start
Mm-hmm.
demanding your way, then your wife feels like what I'm feeling does not matter to
Mm-hmm.
you.
Yeah.
Right.
And just to add what you're saying, add to what you're saying, I
Mm-hmm.
completely agree with that statement. That marriage, being your first ministry, because it really is. It really is your first ministry. Having your house in order. I mean, what more can how else can God explain to us that it's our ministry? There's so many examples of in the Bible that we can look at and see where God really is wanting us to put our marriages, our houses first. Not that we're going to put everything else to the side and not care for these things, but When our marriages become our first ministries, we're sensitive, like you said, to when
Mm-hmm.
our spouse has an issue and isn't just acting up. But when we're not praying for them,
Mm-hmm.
they could be battling depression. They could be battling thoughts of not being enough. And this
Mm-hmm.
goes for a man and a woman. I think that women think that only we have feelings and only we get sad or have battles of depression. But it's very common for men to go through seasons and have battles of depression. And
Mm-hmm.
when we're not sensitive, we may not pick that up, ladies. We think he's just acting out if he don't want to be bothered when he's going through something mentally. And
True.
because we're not tapped in, we're not praying, God can't reveal his heart, that his spirit is down, that he's depressed, that he's going through something. He doesn't feel enough, or maybe having issues with his parents. We don't know. Just like we have issues with our families, with our life, with our jobs, our careers, men have the same struggles. But because they're taught to be strong, I think society and even in their households, they're built to be strong, or we're always thinking they're so strong that we don't see when they have vulnerable moments and times of weakness.
Very true. Anything to add, my love?
No, I mean, you hit the nail on the head.
You did. Mm-hmm.
Kind of double
So
back
true.
into something you said, but I think it's about unlearning bad habits and certain things that you were taught. If you saw certain people struggling in relationships and you saw what was causing the struggle, let's say maybe, I don't know, a single mother. I'm not bashing single mothers, I get it. But if you saw somebody ahead of you be a single mother and struggle, why would you want to jump on that same train, if that makes sense? I saw somebody in the
Mm-hmm.
chat just now put something about being used to being independent or something like that. I don't remember where it is. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know. My screen's acting
I'll
up.
find it. I'll find it.
But if you're just so locked in with being something, it's kind of hard to get out of that role, if that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. There's nothing wrong with having your business and things like that, but a lot of people act like they can't walk and chew gum. It's either my business or nothing at all. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Oh
But it
yeah.
should be that way about your relationship as well. Matter of fact, your relationship should come before your business. Personally, I think anything
Absolutely.
anything that's not your relationship or God should be secondary. I've always thought that way. So, like I said, I think it's just about unlearning bad habits that people have been through, and they don't want
Mm-hmm.
to do that. Some people are so hard stuck in this is right, it's my way or the highway, and
Mm-hmm.
that's just not how it works. You think people are married and they're the most selfless people in the world? No, there are people that are married and selfish, exactly what you said. They don't
Mm-hmm.
care to hear what their spouse is saying to them when it's clear as day, because they only worried about their issues, their problem. Oh, I'm not getting
Mm-hmm.
sex. Like, oh, I'm not getting sex, but this person is going through X, Y, Z, element
Right.
Z. Like,
Exactly.
come on,
Like you ain't doing nothing to get the sex.
that's what I'm saying. Like, help me get rid of some of these
Right.
problems, or at least hear me
Exactly.
out, and you'll get
Right.
rewarded. You know what I
Right.
mean?
You want
Yeah.
the
I don't know.
reward, do the work.
That's all I'm saying.
So all right, y'all. Let's help Miss I think it's Kayla. I'm sorry if I'm messing up your name. Miss
Keela.
Kayla
That's one of my
Keela
spiritual daughters. I don't think
Keela
she meant it in
Fernandez.
that way. I think she was just talking along with us.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
Yeah.
all
She's
right.
actually married.
Okay.
Hi.
So
Yeah.
as far as that, when she says used to being dependent and don't know how
Mhm,
to depend on a man and receive. Okay.
mhm,
For a person who's dealing with that, who's dealing with what was Keela is talking about, right?
mhm,
What are some advice that you would give to a person that is dealing with that, who has grown up, who's like my wife just said, who may have had a mother who wasn't a single mom, saw her work hard, saw her
Hmm.
do her thing.
Arzel needs
You know
this. My
what I'm
spiritual
saying?
daughter, the one that just typed up just now, she needs
Yeah.
mhm,
it.
Yeah, so like you know what I'm saying, like watched your mom be a single mother, do
Hmm.
her thing, whatever, whatnot. So you now you're independent. You never really had you never seen your mom depend on a man, or you've seen men around, but they were very inconsistent, undependable, things of that nature. And now here comes a guy who's the opposite of that.
mhm,
Who's the opposite of that, who is dependable, who is very consistent, who's very even keeled, you know what I'm saying, not abusive, very healthy minded, is there for you, all the kind of stuff. How what's some advice that you would give a person like that to that would help them to be able to receive a man like that and build a healthy relationship with that man?
I think the term independence is honestly overinflated nowadays.
Mhm. Mhm.
Personally, they it's it makes it seem like being dependent on another person can be scary or unhealthy, and that's
Mhm.
definitely quite not the case. I think the first thing that you can do is like look up the term interdependence, and it just basically recognizes that, you know, you can be vulnerable with somebody, you can have your own life but still coincide together as one. So you kind of have to, if you're so independent, why would you need a partner? If that makes
Mm.
sense. You have
Mhm.
to kind of come down off of that pedestal and realize, like, you know what, I would like to spend the rest of my life with somebody. That'd be nice.
Mhm.
So knock the word independence out. Not to say there's nothing wrong with standing on your own 2 feet, but if you're so independent to the point where you don't need nobody, then why would somebody come into your life? You got it. I'm just saying.
Mhm.
But that's it.
Prophetess?
It was short to the
I
point.
I think for me, and I'm going to speak from a counseling perspective now, because this is something I see very often in sessions with women that don't recognize that it is a defense mechanism when we
Mm.
say we're independent, we don't need a man. It's really that we desire one. It's that we desire to be taken care of. And someone years back, maybe recently, didn't give you that support that you deserved and desired in a relationship. They disappointed you. And so what a lot of women do after being disappointed, this is getting ready to be tight, but right, ladies, after we get disappointed, we decide we don't need a man.
Right.
We can do
That
it all
part.
by ourselves. We can pay these bills by ourselves. We can take our car and get our car tuned up. Ask me how I know. I've been there. I
Mhm.
went through a phase of being disappointed and deciding that I was going to be Miss Independent and have it all together. And thank God I have a stepfather that showed me what having a man, a real man, not just someone that you're dating and holding the space of your husband hostage, but playing games with you. Not how somebody that was just playing games would treat you, but my
Wow.
stepfather really showed me how a man should lead. And so if you're listening now, or you listen to this replay later, and the role models that you've had didn't show you how a man should lead, I want you to erase those examples out of your head and understand that the man God has for you is someone that you can be vulnerable with enough to let help you, to
Amen.
accept help from, to be
Amen.
vulnerable enough with them to tell them when you need something, when you need money or emotional support, because support isn't always financial. Sometimes it's spiritual support, it's conversation, it's that hug and embrace that, you know, when you've had a hard day, they're going to be standing there to give you. I thank God that I did receive a role model that showed me and corrected what I thought regular relationships should look like, so that when I met my husband, I was able, because I was in a whole place. Again, that's why I said previously that being in a whole place matters, because when you're whole, even if some people let you down in relationships, you're not going to get stuck and hang out at every man is going to disappoint me, so I have to be independent. You're going to recognize that the one that messed up failed, but someone else out there will be able to provide you with that same support and love that your father or grandfather or any other great role model man figure in your life would have given you. So heal, ladies, because healing makes you respond different, even in times when you've been disappointed. You know that I didn't do anything to be in a position where I can't trust and depend on somebody. This person dropped the ball. Let me keep moving so God can connect me with someone that I can be vulnerable with and forget this independent alpha female thing that we do. I tell people all the time, this alpha female, this independent thing, I think is a distraction. In all honesty, I think it's something that the enemy puts in our spirits to keep us single if we're not careful. Because no man wants a woman that has it all, that
Facts.
doesn't need them. No man wants that. Believe it or
Facts.
not, ladies, men like to feel and be needed. There's nothing wrong with letting the man know you need him. If you
Hmm.
can't let him know you need him, you're in the wrong relationship.
I agree completely.
That's true. Let me say this from a male's perspective, because you said no man, that men want to feel needed, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I say something that you didn't say, correct me. You said
No, I
that
said
men want to
men
feel,
do want to feel needed.
they want to feel needed,
Yeah.
and no man wants a woman who has it all. That's what you said, right?
Well, not that they, like, not that they don't want a woman that has it all, but they don't want a woman that doesn't have a space for them.
True.
Exactly. If you
That's
Very
got
that's
true.
it
what I
all,
mean.
then you
I don't
don't
mean
need
that they
me.
don't want a successful woman or a woman that
Mm-hmm.
has herself together, but
Mm-hmm.
what why do I need to be connected to you if there's no space for me?
Mm-hmm.
That's like even
Exactly.
in our relationship with Christ. If we decide that we're not going to make a space for him, he's not going to be in our hearts.
That's true.
Facts.
So that's what I wanted to address, because what I noticed that a lot of women will do,
Mm-hmm.
right? They will say something to the effect of, "Oh yeah, he couldn't handle me.
Right.
He couldn't handle that I had this and that I had that and I had this and I had that." Let me let you know something, ladies. Men do not care. I'm being
It's
brutally honest.
facts.
We do not care if you have the six-figure job. We do not care if you have the house. We do not care if you have a nice car. We actually will look at you and be like, "Wow, she got her stuff together. That's awesome." Right? We will
Congratulations.
applaud you for that stuff,
Mm-hmm.
right? If he's let me be very clear. If he's a good, healthy,
Mm-hmm.
emotionally healthy male,
Yep.
right? He's not going to care about those things. Where we get messed up at is when you start to feel like those things give you the right to be disrespectful.
That part.
When you feel like, because I've done this, then that means that I'm gonna be what Prophet has said, this alpha female, and you're not gonna tell me what to do, and you're not gonna control me, and you're not gonna do this, and you're not then and if he's a good, emotionally healthy male, he wasn't trying to control you no way.
Mm-hmm.
He's not he wasn't trying to control you anyway. It's just like what Prophet has said earlier, right? if he's if he's godly connected, right, and he's emotionally healthy, right, masculine male,
Mhm.
he's gonna be able to see things you don't see. He's gonna want to protect you. He's gonna want to provide for you, right? He's
Mm-hmm.
not, when he pays the bill, he's not saying you're not able. He's not trying to downplay you and make it seem like you don't have no. That's not what he's trying to do. He just wants to treat you well.
Right.
When he says, "I don't think it's a good idea to go out this late," he's not trying to control
Mm-hmm.
you. He's just trying to keep you safe. You see what I'm saying? It's
Mm-hmm.
like, that's when it becomes a problem. It has
Mhm.
nothing to do with what you have, what you got going on. Men actually love that stuff. My what drew me to my wife was how much she had her stuff together. Cause when I saw her, I was like, man, she living good. She doing this. She doing okay.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No.
Babe got it going on. Okay.
No.
Okay. And what really drew me to my wife is she's not showing herself on here, but I let me say this first. I acknowledge, prophetess. I acknowledge that I'm hyper attracted to my wife. I acknowledge that.
Come on, tell it, tell it, tell it.
I am shameless about
Come
it,
on,
right?
claim your
I am
wife.
hyper attracted to
No.
my wife, right? But my wife is objectively a beautiful woman. She is objectively beautiful. And she is so humble.
Oh.
Mm.
She is so humble. Like
Mm-mm.
she has all this stuff together. At the time, I was going through stuff. I was going through it. And I remember I said, I don't know if she remembers this. I don't remember if she remembers this, but I remember one time I said, man, I feel like I don't have anything to offer you. Like I don't got this, I don't got that, don't da 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 da. And she said, let me ask you a question. She said, why did you try to talk to me? And I said, because I felt like if I didn't try to talk to you now, that I would lose out on a great opportunity. Right. And she said, so if that's the case, then just be with me. I don't care about that. That made she when she said that, because
Exaggerating.
we was on the phone when she said
Boo.
it. Oh
This
my gosh,
fool.
I was through to I said she don't know it, but she is married. She is married.
You said married.
That's crazy.
She is married. She don't know it yet, but
Well,
she's in holy matrimony right now.
yeah.
Type of thing. Because it showed me, like, because she had herself, she had her own car, she had her own place, she was taking care of her parents, all that kind of stuff by herself.
Mm.
By
Mm-hmm.
herself. She had all that stuff going on before me. You see what I'm saying? When I came in, I just came in and like, all right, I'm with you now. You're not doing this by yourself. But she was doing that on her own.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So it's not about a woman having her stuff together. It's about, like, just like what Prophetess said, are you making space for him, or are you making him, is everything that you're saying and doing letting him know that you don't need him?
Right. That
Or
part.
communicating to him
Mm-hmm.
that you don't need him? Like, I don't need you. I don't need you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't need you to do this. I don't need, dang dog, like.
Mm-hmm. Believe it or
But
not, I had a very, because I do matchmaking as well. But
Mm-hmm.
I had a very successful, nice looking pastor that was seeking help finding a wife. And I was going to match him with this lady. And in the consultation, because they get a consultation first, she just got on and I just wanted to jump through the screen. But I'm like, you know what? This is the real her. So he needs to see this.
Mm-hmm.
And everything that she said, I knew before we hung up, had already made him feel like she didn't need him. That, marriage was just going to be so that she could say she accomplished being married. And
wow.
so we hung up and she's so excited. So I know he has to like me. And I said, actually, he said you don't need him. Oh, he's insecure. I said, no, he's definitely not insecure. If I was the man on the other side of the virtual call, I would have said you didn't need me either. I don't want a person that doesn't have space for me. And she broke down crying and began to say how the rebuke was needed. And she, hearing it come from a woman gave her a different perspective, the way I was breaking it down to her. And I said, that's like deciding that, you're going to go and work at a job where they already filled your position, but you just gonna go work there anyway. Why would you do that?
That's true.
Like they're telling you, we're not going to pay you. So if you come here, you're just going to be here because we hired someone to do the position. You wouldn't stay there because you would feel like, hey, they don't need me.
Right.
That's true.
And it's the same in your relationship. If someone is in a position where there's no space for me, there's no role for me to play, then I don't, why do I want to be here?
This is
That's
true.
true.
And
That's
so I
true.
explained that to her. And so hopefully, prayerfully, her next consultation, she calmed down.
Prophetess say I was trying. She messed the whole
I
thing
was
up.
trying, I was giving her look, all kind of eyes, and she just going on and on. I said, oh Lord, you need healing, sweetheart. You need to go through some healing time because don't nobody want to be somewhere where they're not needed.
I
That's
There's
true.
agree.
no space for them to do anything, to even breathe.
I
That's true.
agree completely. Um, I agree with everything both of you actually have said. And I didn't even really realize that. I was just kind of going through life at the time, and then here comes this guy, this random guy, right? I didn't
It's
realize
the
I had all
random.
that going on until he said all of that, and I'm like, oh well, I was doing pretty good
Just
for
doing your
myself.
thing, right?
She was doing the
but
thought thizzle. I ain't gonna lie. She was doing her thought
but
thizzle. I'm like, excuse me? What the? Okay.
yeah, but
Okay.
I mean, my dad taught me. I had a dad in the house, and he taught me
Hmm.
authority and to always have your heart open, and
Right.
always make space for if a good guy comes along for a long term relationship. So I might have had all that going on, but he's absolutely right. I was completely humble about it. I'm still humble about it now, and even though he didn't have too much going on, I saw that he was one, a God-fearing man, which was at the top of my list. And I knew with that, like I said, everything else would come with that. And when you're in a relationship, it's your partner and God. So God definitely took us to the point where we are now, obviously married, where I've cut my hours and now he's, the business owner, and everything basically switched and vice versa. So,
Hmm.
kudos to you. I'm a proud wife. I'm so proud of you.
Thank
So
you,
now I
love
work
you.
part-time, and now, he's the big honcho. So, I love letting him lead, and I love the position that I'm in. I wish I can kind of I said this to him the other day. I wish I could give other women this feeling, and maybe they might, you know, become softer, because I feel like so many women nowadays are just so hardcore, and it's like a man dating a man type stuff. When I hear people in their relationships, I don't know. I wish people could really feel what it was like, or what it is like, to be married and just be happy in your marriage and just playing your natural God-given roles. It's a beautiful thing. And we lost her. That's awesome.
She's gonna come back. She's gonna come back.
I'm still proud of you, though, if that means anything.
I appreciate you, my beloved. I appreciate you. So hold on. Let me highlight this from Miss Arzel. If I'm butchering your name, I'm so sorry. I apologize, but I want to get with this comment. She said, "A man has told me I make them feel like I don't need them. Well, when I do, it's always something like, dude, just get up and puts gas in my car so I can get to work. Not
Oh,
all
wow.
men, because Mama Bear knows these men in my age range are a bit
Mhm.
zesty, so I have to. So I
Oh,
sorry,
wow.
so I have to be alpha when my dad can't do it, right?
Mhm.
So with that part of the comment where she says these men in my age range are a bit zesty, what is some advice that you would give to someone like her?
Zesty as in,
Like, you
um
know how these new age men have been, that I look, let me ladies, I'm on your side.
very
I am
true.
on your I do not know what happened to men in the last 10 years. I do not know what happened. It seems like men have become so effeminate. It seems like, oh Lord, done lost my wife too. It seems like men have become so effeminate. It seems like men have become like so, like, they don't know chivalry. They don't know responsibility. They don't know um being consistent. They don't know anything like that. And then they come to you making it seem like you're the issue. And it's like, but you not even doing what you're supposed to be doing. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're not even doing what you're supposed to be doing. You're not even like my wife said, when me and her met, I wasn't making that much, right? I wasn't making that much. I was in a really bad situation. I have 3 children from a previous marriage, being totally forthcoming. I have three children from a previous marriage. So she came into me already having 3 children, right? I was taking care of them because me and my ex-wife, we split custody 50-50, right? So I was taking care of them. I wasn't making a lot of money. Things weren't the way they should be for a guy at the age when we met. Or not when we met, but when we got together, because I was in my early 30s at the time, right? But it didn't stop me from making sure that I helped her out. It didn't stop me from putting gas in the car. It didn't stop me from paying the check when we went out to dinner. It didn't stop me from, you know what I'm saying, doing what I needed to do that as a man. You see what I'm saying? So it really bothers me now. You know what I'm saying? It really bothers me now. My wife is back. It really bothers me now when I see a lot of men. It's almost like they treat their women like their mom. You know what I'm saying? Like Ms. Arzel said, like they treat them like their mom, like as if they're obligated to take care of them. When it's like, no, these women are just supposed to be taking care of you. Like, what kind of mess is this? You better you better step up and be a man. Stop doing that. Like, what's wrong with you? When I see, you know what bothers me? Oh my gosh, my wife would tell you this. What? Oh my gosh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, my love.
Okay,
What
sorry.
bothers me to no end is when I see a woman at the gas station pumping gas and the man is in the car.
I agree.
Oh my gosh. Cause I'm looking like, what is going on right now? When I see men and they're walking and they're like 10 steps in front of their woman, they don't even know where their woman at. They don't know what's going on. Or when they're walking and the woman's on the outside toward the street, that bothers me to no end. But a lot of these guys are like that now.
They're new age guys.
Yeah, these new age guys are like that. For real, for real. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, babe, that's what I was trying to say. Like, because she said in her comment, the guys in her age range, that's how they are.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So what advice would you give to a person like her who has been coming up, who has been meeting basically the same guy with a different name? You see what I'm saying? Like she keeps on meeting the same guy over and over and over, but with a different name, treating her the same type of way and all kind of stuff. What advice would you give a person like that?
Don't give up. That's as simple as that, honestly. I mean, you can't raise a man. You can't really tell a man what to do. I was telling somebody this earlier, actually. You can't raise a man. He should have left his house and kind of known how to be a man. But this is why fathers are so needed in the house, not just for little girls to know what authority and protection look like, but for little boys to know how to raise them into men. This is kind of why I think I said this to you before. This is why, single mothers can only, I guess, kind of control their boys up until a certain age, if that makes sense. By the time they hit 13, 14, it's like if there's not a man around, it's just like, well, your hits don't hurt as much anymore. You know what I mean? It's just, you can't tell me anything. And then these are the same sassy type of men that are going into the dating pool once they hit like 20 years old. So it's just, I don't know. I would say not to give up. Honestly, there are some men out there that have been taught respect, that you open a door for a woman, that, you know what I mean, you don't walk ahead of a woman, there are a few of them still out there. I know it's kind of like a needle in the haystack type of situation, but they're out there. You know what I mean? It's the same situation of women kind of saying, "Where'd all the good guys gone?" There's a few of them still there. You just gotta look a little bit harder. From what I hear, they're not on dating apps. They're not on
Wow.
dating apps. They're like doing their jobs. They're working, or they're taking care of their responsibilities. So it's kind of hard to find them, but they're out there. I saw videos of women going to like Home Depot.
Wow.
Hey, like if he could fix up around the house, hello, he's a keeper.
So they walk in the aisles of Home Depot now? It's like that?
Yes.
Yikes.
It's smart if you think about it. Like,
Yikes.
do you want the guy that's going to Home Depot, or do you want the guy going to the club? You kind of have to figure
That's
out
true. That's true.
where you're
That's true.
getting the guys at. Are you
That's true.
going to the same dating pool and then wondering, oh, why do I keep snatching out the same guy? You're going to the exact same dating pool all the time.
That's
Like you
true.
said, different man, same name. I mean, well,
That's true.
same man, different name. You know what I meant.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. What I would suggest. She said she's going to Home Depot tomorrow.
I don't know how successful that person was at getting a man. The
She
video I
say
saw.
she on her way to Home Depot in the morning.
It's a few videos out there of them going to like Home Depots and Lowe's. One video was a lady and she went with her bonnet on, so I don't suggest that. It's about your
Wow.
appearance as well. You know what I mean, ladies? So
Yeah.
just make sure your first impression is, your best impression and so on and so forth.
Oh wow. Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying. What I would say to add on to what you're saying, because I totally agree with what you said about you have to change where you're meeting these dudes.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? You have to change where you're meeting these dudes, because if you're going to the same pond and catching the same fish, you can't get mad.
True.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you cannot be upset when you're catching the same exact fish. You have to change where you're meeting these people. Basically expand where you're going. Does that make sense? Like, like where do you meet these guys? The other thing that I would do to add to that, therapy.
I agree.
Work on you. Work on yourself. This is not directed at Arzel. This is for anybody. Work on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
The more you work on yourself, the more you heal. Just like Prophetess said earlier, the more you heal, the more you deal with you and all that kind of stuff, you will begin to attract the type of people that are on the level that you get to. If that makes sense. So you want to make sure that you're going to therapy, that you're making sure that you're doing what you got to do. I'm not though. I've been single for 5 years and tried dating this guy. He was a nut. Wow. But yeah, just Arzel, boy, she did a show.
They telling all their business in the comments. They're like, whatever, it's a therapy session now.
Yeah, so but yeah, like, make sure you get what therapy. I go to therapy. I've gone to therapy. I have a therapist and all kind of stuff. I haven't been in a while, but therapy is very, very, very effective. It is very useful, and trust me, it helps. It really does help. The other thing that you want to do too is get to a place where you understand you. And I'm gonna explain why I'm saying this. Where you understand you and you know what you want. Where you understand yourself and you know what you want. Because that what you want will become the standard that you have for whomever comes along. And you'll know that, this person doesn't meet these standards. You see what I'm saying? I'm not saying that, be unrealistic. You know what I'm saying? Oh, he has to be, what my wife, babe, what you say? The 3 6s, 6 foot tall, 6 figures and six pack abs, something like that.
Something like that.
Right? Like, oh, he gotta have this. He gotta, no, I'm talking about focus more in on like their mental, their spiritual first and their mental second. You know what I'm saying? Zero in on what you're looking for when it comes to that. And hang around areas where you, for instance, fit people meet fit people, right? The reason why fit people meet fit people is because they go to the gym. You see what I'm saying? You meet at the gym. You see what I'm saying? You are always there because you're a fit person. You're health conscious. So go to places that fit what you want to be. You know what I'm saying? If you want to be mentally healthy and all that kind of stuff, hang around places where mentally healthy people go. And they don't go to the club. Just saying.
It's true.
They don't go to the club. They not in everybody hookah bar. They not in, always trying to party. They're not doing all that.
That's true.
They're not doing that. You know what I'm saying? Put yourself in those places where those types of people are. And I'm telling you, it will totally shift who you date. And I'm telling you from experience, because cough, cough, my wife is on here right now.
Yeah.
When me and her started dating, right, I was in a very bad place for a while. And I just got to a place where I said, you know what? I'm just gonna chill to myself. I'm just gonna, deal with me. I started just randomly going to the movies just because I wanted to go. I went to restaurants just because I wanted to go. You see what I'm saying? And then what I did was I got to a place where I was healthy enough emotionally where I said, you know what? This is what I want in a woman, and I'm not gonna allow myself to be in a relationship where I'm treated like this anymore, or I'm treated like that anymore, right? The moment I gave myself those type of standards, the moment when I did that, I don't even think it was 2 weeks later when God told me to tell my wife how I felt about her. I don't even think it was 2 weeks later. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of times, I'm gonna be real with you, a lot of times, because me and my wife knew each other. We knew each other for what? It was like 2 years prior?
Yeah.
We knew each other, right? But God didn't tell me to talk to her until I got myself together. So a lot of times the person that God has for you may be orbiting you already. That person may be orbiting you already. It's just that God is not going to give them to you if you're going to break them when they come.
Amen.
You know what I'm saying? He's not gonna give him to, because remember, he loved him too. And if he knows that you're gonna hurt him, if he knows that you're gonna break him, if he knows that you're gonna mishandle him, he's not gonna give him to you right now.
I agree.
You see what I'm saying? What did she say? My man has to be tall. Here she go. Tall. My man has to be tall. I'm 6 feet. I can't date nobody that's 5'8". And when I wear my heels, I'm 6'3". So now he's looking up at me and looking down on, and I'm looking down on him. I don't go out at all. They find me at gas stations and when I'm at my runway show. But tomorrow I'm going to Home Depot.
I hope it works out for you at Home Depot. I'm not gonna lie. But y'all gotta, you have to understand the standard. I think you hit the nail on the head when it came to your standards or what you were looking for. It was pretty basic, but it was very like to the point. You know what I mean? Just somebody that's kind, that somebody's not gonna disrespect me. That's a big one with men, especially. And somebody that just treats me as a human being. I know we joke and play when it comes to the whole 6 foot or 6 whatever, but if you really look at the stats, the average man in America is 5'9".
Yeah,
5'8" or 5'9", somewhere in there. So it's just like, how many men have you disqualified off rip just based on their height? When again, there could be a guy 5'7" and he will just treat you like the absolute world. So it's like, I don't know. You have to be realistic with your standards, ladies. We have to be realistic with our standards. That was never something I put at the top of the list. That seems to be like a new age thing. It's weird to me. But for me, it was kind of like the men. I just wanted somebody who would respect me, who would just treat me right, just who was nice to me, and then everything else would kind of come into play with that. And it worked out. So I don't know, ladies, we can't be too picky, but I can understand you having standards. But these lists that people are coming up with, you guys do this, guys do that, take me here, take me there. It's like, come on, let's be for real.
That's true. That's true. That's why I said, let me address this first. We are trying to get Coach D back on. She's just having trouble logging back on, but we're still trying to get her back on. That's why you see me looking at my phone and stuff. I'm trying to get her the link to log back in. Okay. That's the reason why I said you have to get to know a lot of these standards that women are ascribing to is stuff that was told to them through media.
Period.
It wasn't something that you personally said, this is what I like in a guy. You see what I'm saying? It was something that was told to you. He got to be this, he got to be that, he got to be this, he got to be that. He got to have 6 figures. Okay, well, what if he makes, 40,000 right now? Right? But he's responsible with his money. He's saving. He's doing right. He's taking care of his credit, all that kind of stuff. you're gonna disqualify that dude because he's not making six figures right now.
This is
You see what I'm
true.
saying? Like, like he might come into your life and make it to where you're not working a full-time job no more. You're not struggling to do things anymore. He's taking care of most of the things in the house, and you're just kind of like you may be working, but you're chilling. It's not as rough as it was before. You're gonna tell him no because he's not making six figures, but he's really willing to maximize whatever he makes to take care of you. Shouldn't you get that type of guy, team up with him, build him up so that he can make the six figures so he can retire you? Because that's the guy who's showing you he about that life.
Right. What they're not realizing is these, as Kevin Samuels would say, these high value men, they have so much resources, meaning they have so much, they have their pick of the litter. So, like women that's clawing for these so-called perfect guys, it's a million women clawing for the same person instead of
Wow.
just finding your average everyday guy and just kind of building with him. It's a beautiful thing if you do it that way, but we live in a I say it all the time, we live in a world where it's all about instant gratification. Nobody sees the beauty in actually building with one another anymore, and it's sad. It's kind of becoming a lost art, but
Yeah.
I don't know. It's sad.
That goes back to what Coach D said earlier when she was saying, they don't have that fight anymore.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people, not just women, but men and women, they don't have that fight anymore to where they understand that bad, challenge. I wouldn't even say bad. Challenging times will come. You will have difficult conversations. You see what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But that doesn't mean we break up.
Right.
That doesn't mean that this is over. That just means we had a challenging time. You know what I'm saying? I feel like marriage is the person that you feel like is worth it to go through the hard times for.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like this person is worth me going through these hard times.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? The good times are going to be there. If you handle them right, good times are going to come, right? But when those bad times come, this person right here, they're worth me sticking it through with.
Right. I
Type of
agree.
thing.
I
Arzel
completely
said
agree.
that Coach D gonna get her. She need to erase the comments. This is alive, yo. She done seen the comments already. She's watching, bro. You done. You done, sis. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, sis. I'm sorry. Keita Fernandez, that's fine, sis. He shouldn't be insecure. What you mean that he shouldn't be secure? The guy that you want to be doesn't want it. Doesn't look. What is something that I'm gonna give you the permission to tell on me. You hear me, love?
Yeah, I'm cutting in and out, but I can hear you.
No, I was saying I'm gonna give you permission to tell on me. What are some things that you dealt with me? How have you navigated me? I'll say it like that. Like what are some things that you've like had difficulty with me about, and how were you able to navigate those things?
I haven't really had too much difficulty with you, to be honest. It's actually been a fairly smooth sailing relationship, which I thank God for. Hearing about people's, traumatic relationship and constant fights, like they're deterrents. They make me not want to fight with you because it's just like, Jesus Christ, y'all went through what? So I really haven't had too much difficulty navigating you. I think we both over time, you have to understand, like when you're in a relationship, especially in a long-term relationship, you're growing together. And that's kind of the beauty of it. Um, so I think in the beginning we still were trying to understand the communication
Mm-hmm.
part of our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And I think over time we got better. So I would say that's the beauty of it. You know what I mean? Like it's been what, a decade? that we've been in each other's life or whatever.
Yeah,
So
we've been in each other's life for a decade.
I think it's a beautiful thing to kind of watch us grow when it comes to communication. Because, like I said in the very beginning, that's the top of the top um, when it comes to make or break in relationships. So I've learned to kind of dial back my attitude sometimes just to, let some stuff just go underneath the bridge or whatnot and realize, hey, again, I'm speaking to the women sometimes like, hey, Christine, sometimes it's you. Like, shut up and go sit down. So, um, just getting better at communication as a whole, as a couple, I think is a beautiful thing.
Hmm.
Because now it feels almost telepathic
Yeah, the
sometimes when
God
we're
whispers.
exactly, basically, it feels telepathic. Um, and that's a beautiful thing. So it wasn't really nothing too hard to navigate with you. I think we just had to get better communicating with one another over time.
That's true.
Right.
That's true. I agree with that. To add on to that.
You can snitch
Um,
on me if you want to. That's fine. You can throw me
oh
under
no,
the
no,
bus. Bring it on.
no,
That's
no.
fine.
Just to reiterate what you were saying, like, because you made a statement. You said Christine sometimes is you, and what I was going to add on to that with, what I was going to add on to that with is, um, you have to be open to the idea that maybe you were wrong, that you yourself were wrong,
Right.
or even if you were right, you communicated it in the wrong way.
Right.
You have to be open to that idea, because sometimes we get so lost in how we feel that we don't realize maybe I handled that wrong.
Right.
Maybe I was wrong. Maybe I'm perceiving things wrong and I'm projecting things on this person that they're not really trying to do. Maybe I need to dial back.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And not do that to this person. Maybe I'm causing these conflicts
Mm-hmm.
with my projection. You see what I'm saying? And that acknowledgement of maybe I'm wrong, that will actually help you to not make drastic decisions when
Mm-hmm.
you get into hard times. If you think
Right.
about, you know what, hold up. Did I do something? Did I do this? Did I do that? Did I hmm hmm
Mm-hmm. True.
hmm. You see what I'm saying? The other thing is, man, this is real talk. Develop your own personal relationship with God.
I agree.
Develop your own personal relationship with God to the point to where he can check you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you, because God will. I've said things to my wife in jest. I was joking around, and the Holy Spirit said, "Do not ever say that to her again." And I will come back and then say, "I'm sorry," and she's like, "What? What are you talking about?" And I was like, "I'm sorry for saying such and such. I don't know what you're talking about. But it's something that God understood. Don't say that no more. That will cause an issue."
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I'm telling you, develop a relate, because you have to remember, marriage, a real marriage relationship is not man and wife. A real marriage, a real godly marriage is God, man, and wife. It's a
In that order,
covenant,
but
huh?
I said in that order, but we won't go that deep.
Exactly.
We
You
won't go that deep.
here you
It's
go.
okay. No, no, no. We won't go that deep.
Here you go. I'm not even. Ladies, trust me. I'm saving you now. I'm saving you. I'm telling you, coach. That's another Coach D right there. Oh my God, right? So, but for real, it's God, man, and wife. It's all three of you. And a lot of times, what we do is we believe God up until the wedding day, and then after that, we throw God out the relationship.
Right.
No, leave God in that relationship. Let God lead that relationship. And I'm telling you, if you let God lead that relationship, it's gonna cause you to have such a tranquil relationship. I'm telling you. Because God will be checking you, God will be checking her. Everything's gonna be straight. As long as you're doing things God's way, trust me, everything's gonna be fine.
I agree.
Trust me, everything's going to be fine. Everything's going to be fine. Do you guys have any questions? Any questions, comments, concerns? Anything you guys want us to talk about?
Bring it on.
She said, bring it on. Oh, she ready. She ready. She ready.
I like how you didn't throw me under the bus. I love it.
Huh?
I said, I like how you didn't throw me under the bus. I gave you the
Nah,
opportunity.
a real man protects his wife.
I know, I'm kidding.
A real man protects his wife. Any questions? Any questions? Let us know whatever questions you have. Whatever questions you may have. I'm really waiting on Arzel because I know she be texting them long texts. So
I just scrolled down and I was reading her comment about her dating the guy that was 5'6". He was apparently crazy.
It says she was a nut.
Yeah, I just saw that one. So basically, short men are crazy. Is that what I'm understanding?
I'm average. I'm 5'10". I'm 5'10", so I'm average.
No, you're not 6 foot though. You don't
qualify.
qualify.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm gonna put on some heels. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna put on some heels, and I'm 6 feet in my church shoes.
In spirit, you're 6 feet.
I'm 6 feet in my church shoes, y'all.
Imagine. That's funny.
Take my beating. she said no, I thank you guys for this, and I'm going to take my beating in private.
She's funny.
Oh my gosh. But yeah, we about to get off, man. I don't want to hold you guys too long. But before we go, my love, I want to let you know that I appreciate you. Thank you so much for joining me on here.
No problem.
And I love you so very, very much. You have no idea. I love you so very much. And this was an honor to share a platform with you.
Love you too. Thanks for the invite.
Of course. She said, no short men are not crazy, just a bit zesty. Tall guys don't ever approach me, but thank you. You know what? I don't think it's so much that it's I love the way she's using zesty, because I use that for barbecue. So when she says,
right, I instantly think of that.
I think of food when she says zesty. I'm like, whoa. But I think what it is, I think you're dating these, or you're meeting these new age dudes.
Right.
I think that's what it is. I think you need to find you. I'm not saying an old guy, but just a guy who, for lack of a better term, was raised with some sense. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like that older school dude. My wife tells me all the time, she'll make fun of me. She'll be like, babe, why don't you get your nails painted like these? I said, I'm a man.
I'm kidding when I say that. I don't want your nails
painted. I know, no. That's why I said she's kidding with me when she says this. She said, nah, they ain't they 40. Nah.
Oh, that's insane.
Nah. It got that bad. It got to the 40-year-olds.
Jesus Christ.
Nah, bros. Y'all can't be making me look bad like that, bruh. Nah, bro. Nah, bruh. Nah. Y'all can't be doing that, bro. Don't be acting like these young boys, yo. Don't be acting like these young kids. Man, nah, bro. Man, nah.
You remember the older heads are usually trying to keep up with the younger heads. So, whatever they're doing, they just kind of copying them, maybe.
Nah, bruh. Nah. I thought it was these young dudes doing it, bruh. I didn't know it was the older dudes doing it. Nah, bruh.
That's crazy.
Nah, bruh. You tripping. You tripping, bruh. You tripping. I haven't dated nobody in my age bracket since my ex-husband. Lord Jesus, Lord. Have mercy of the Latter-day Saints. Want someone as passionate as me. No plot twist. Nope, plot twist. She said nope. Man, I still need a whole show. Let me tell you something, because Sharon says something to the effect, and babe, I want you to speak to this too. She says she wants someone as passionate as she is. Let me I said this to my best friend Trinika. I think she's still on here. But this is something that me and her had a conversation about back in 2018, 2019. Is when we was doing the documentary, the docuseries.
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I want a guy who's ambitious. I want a guy who's this. I want a guy who's that. I want a guy who's this. I want a guy who's that. I said, you have to understand something, that for every quality that you want in a man, there is a dark side to that quality.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to understand that there's a dark side to that quality. So you have to be able to navigate that dark side. Because if you want a guy who's as passionate as you are, or a passionate dude, then you have to understand, and that means sometimes he's going to be overzealous in situations that you don't want him to be zealous about.
True.
You see what I'm saying? If you want a guy who's generous, then you have to understand sometimes he's going to be broke.
That is true.
Because generous men will give their last. That's the reason why they say he's the kind of man that will give the shirt off his back. He's done it before.
Yeah.
He's given that shirt off his back. You see what I'm saying? Ambitious men are hard-headed men. I'm just letting you know. You're looking at an ambitious man. My wife will tell you I am hard-headed, right? Ambitious men are hard-headed, but the reason why we're hard-headed is because we have to be. We have to be able to sustain a lot of no's to get to the yes that we're looking for, right? That toughens our skin. That makes our skin thick, which means we'll be extremely hard-headed. We will hold on to something sometimes longer than we should because we're tenacious. That makes sense?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So, like, you have to understand that the good things come with your qualities that you may not like when it's not working for you at the time, but you have to be willing to navigate those things as well so that you can enjoy the fruit of the things that you like. And my love, you can go ahead and speak to that.
No, you hit the nail on the head, honestly. It's kind of a yin and yang situation, right?
Yeah.
So I don't have anything to that. You hit it on the head.
Arzel says, on a serious note, I just want to say thank you guys. I've learned and gained so much from this life. You guys have a great evening and stay blessed. And plot twist, my talk show is coming soon. Amen to that. Amen. Make sure, let me know, Arzel, follow me on Facebook, or I ask Coach D from my profile, 'cause I want to be able to support you. Okay.
You stay blessed too.
But yeah, I want to let you guys go. You guys be blessed. Once again, my love, thank you so much for sharing this platform with me. It was my honor.
No problem.
I'm sorry?
I said no problem.
And sorry you guys for Coach D was just wasn't able to come back. She said something might be wrong with her internet. I apologize for that, but I hope you guys were blessed by this. I hope that it helped you in some type of way. If this helped you guys, let us know. We will do it again, because it is on my heart to really help people to have healthy relationships. We for so long had broken relationships, and we've tried to navigate relationships while broken. And it's, we've been able to acknowledge that we're broken, but it's not a lot of people that's helping people to become whole. And that's one of the things that I want to really do, is provide different platforms so that people can get the information that they need so that they could become whole. Amen. So thank you so much, you guys, for joining, or everyone for joining in. I appreciate you guys. I hope that this blessed you. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening. God bless.
Good night, guys.